I love when games like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 succeed because they take risks to pave the way for a higher standard, igniting our imagination with breathtaking adventures. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin is FIFA Ultimate Team, which each year earns more money than Elden Ring sales. Let it sink in. FIFA loot box alone each year, and this shows AAA companies that they can safely get money just by focusing on well-tested profit-driven strategies like loot boxes. So why bother to take risks like Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3? The industry is maturing in the same way as a person does over time, such as visual appearance has changed from 8-bit 2D to 3D, which can look so mind-blowingly real. Its place in the world has changed, gaming going from a niche hobby to a much more acceptable pastime. And the same way the environment partially shapes what type of person will grow up, it makes to wonder, where will the gaming industry go from here on? What incentives will come at the top? Of course, games can get even more immersive. For example, even now there are devices which can simulate sensations, such as touch. I could think of a few uses for it, such as in the wrong hands games can become even much bigger digital drugs than they are now, taking over other underground economy sectors. But the same way a car is not just a better horse. If I am somewhat optimistic, future games will conquer new frontiers by approaching from different angles. If we take a step back, then we see that currently the vast majority of games are entertaining type. But if people think that games can be nothing more than toys, then they are selling short true capabilities of gaming. When I was 6, I learned addition and subtraction from playing blackjack, and later a lot about history through civilization, because games are a much more efficient way to learn than just sitting in class or watching videos. I even instinctually gameplayed going to school, that is, implementing game elements in a non-game environment. School became epic quests, each grade a level, every subject a skill tree, and each time I studied, a way to gain experience to level up. That is why I did not separate as much of my gaming time from my learning time. I did something similar when I worked in a warehouse, turning a mind-numbing job into something more exciting. Can you truly imagine studying and working being as exciting as playing your favorite games? A world where people take the best parts from both and combine into super engaging, fulfilling, and efficient time? Not to mention the worst nightmare of companies exploiting people with mental health injuries through unethical game design like loot box. I'm talking about other non-entertainment games such as mental health games intentionally curing the underlying mental injuries, so there is nothing to exploit. Combining both types, magical games like Celeste are born. Besides being an entertaining platformer, it also intentionally lowers the stigma to talk about mental health problems. As players navigate its challenge, they gain useful insights to cope with real-life struggles in a healthy way and so on, trying to intentionally prevent depressions cause harm, even to literally save lives. You do not destroy the lurking darkness in the game industry by playing their game, such as making more entertaining games, but by seeing the bigger picture and solving the root causes, such as eliminating unethical company leverage over people by destroying the wheel and replacing it with something better. Each of us can do our own part for a better future by being and making others aware when games go beyond just being entertaining and when games try to use tricks to make people addicted to them. So can milk players. Maybe even making your own games. When I started my hobbyist game developer journey, I loved that I could be a god in my own virtual world, from dictating laws of physics to creating somewhat intelligent creatures. I enjoyed sharing my created worlds and getting feedback from testers, but at some point in my game development journey it was not enough anymore. I started to ask myself, what positive action will a player take after playing my game? In my opinion, an important part of growing as a game dev is moving from pleasuring yourself, such as making interesting games only for yourself, striving for fame and money, to answering this question, to helping players to solve the root cause of their problems. For example, I lost once, so I will never play this game again, said no real gamer ever. But sadly, part of the same people make an exception about the biggest game of them all, life. And if it is not a self-caused game over, then people are stressed much more than they should, negatively impacting their health, lifespan, and quality. If this gap between how people are in the game and life could be closed, then depression in the near future, the most dangerous disease in developed countries, could be greatly reduced. I have tried to make mental health games, but honestly, it is really mentally taxing because I need to go to dark place. Also, there is needed mental health related knowledge, and there are so few shining examples like Celeste showing the way to build on. That is why so many things I need to figure out from scratch. In my case, I make YouTube videos to gain experience and level up. Do you now see why Celeste is more impactful than Baldur's Gate 3? No matter how qualitative the game is at being entertaining, at best it will unintentionally help. At worst, enable mindless escapism, letting the underlying problem fester, turning from a snowball into an avalanche. But well-made serious games add value beyond playing, intentionally increasing real-life stats in meaningful ways, even curing the underlying problems. These games in meaningful ways destroy the lurking darkness from which so many people are sick of, and show the way for others to do the same. Hope this video helps you to see the bigger picture and recognize the potential that games have to affect our lives positively. Feel free to join the discussion in the comment section about how games can be a force for good in society. And if you wish to see an even bigger picture, then take a few more steps back with this video.